These days, our elections are fought on political and legal fronts. Now, the November 6th Anambra governorship election may suffer similar fates. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released names of 17 parties and candidates eligible to participate in the election, while some notable names missing. With some notable names missing, chief among them is that of the former CBN governor, Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, who is replaced with Chukwuma Michael Umeoji. That of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is missing as INEC did not list any name for the party. The commission said it's based on the decision of court orders. Trust that the affected person would not throw in the towel just yet. Julie, this is not going to be fair, and it's not going to be okay for democracy in Anambra State, because another thing politicians do now, when they have problem with their primaries, as a result of their primaries and everything, they go to court to do all sorts of things to make sure that anybody that emerges will be replaced. And this thing, going to this thing, we had this conversation 3-4 weeks ago, and we're talking about the popularity of each of these candidates. And a major player in this game is Professor Chukwuma Soludo. For INEC to have omitted his name, substituted his name with another candidate from APGA, that is a big blow to the government of APGA.
No, but that's not, it's not as if that is the end of the matter. Cases are in court, and when those cases are resolved, of course, there's still time to substitute these individuals. What even APGA would not want to see is a situation in which it doesn't have a candidate. There are two factions of APGA. The one led by Victor Oye, produced Professor Charles Soludo. The other faction, that is the Okeke faction, produced Umeoji.
Member of the House of Representatives.
Yes.
Jude Okeke.
Produced Umeoji. So, and there's something similar that has happened in
People's Democratic Party,
because Valentine, Ozigbo, and Chukwuma are jostling for the same position. The Uba family want to make sure that at least one of them becomes the next governor. So Andy Uba is pursuing the ticket of the APC. He probably will be the person who gets it. And despite the primaries were very controversial, then their elder brother, Ugochukwu, is also looking for the PDP ticket. So they have not put all their eggs in one basket. A very wise family.
But
now, Ozigbo, through his lawyer, filed an ex parte application seeking the order of the court for INEC to not recognize anyone for now as the candidate of the PDP. And that's what INEC has done. Once the court gave the order, INEC proceeded to carry out the instruction of the court. That's Justice Yusuf Halilu. He directed INEC to maintain the status quo by not publishing any name as candidate of the PDP. So this is what politicians are doing to themselves. APGA remember two factions. APGA has always been bedeviled by crisis. When Ume was the national chairman, he never addressed for one day until he left the seat for the National Assembly. And right now, there is still no peace in APGA. So you can expect this kind of things. And if the PDP and the and APGA do not manage this situation very well, honestly, both parties may not be able to win the election.
As when you look at, because I'm not always happy when what happened in, let's say, Bayelsa State, let's say the courts are the ones that would adjudicate and make pronouncement to make somebody. I feel that the people should be able to have a direct distance and, elect whoever they want to govern them. And politicians should stop going to court to use technicality, and political parties should learn to be fair and transparent in the conduct of their primary elections.
Exactly. That is the right thing, Everybody who is in a political party should be able to respect their political party, because that is the platform on which you will become whatever you want to become. And so if the political party has set out its guidelines and says, okay, at the end of the day, this is the person that we want, everybody should fall in line. But what we have noticed is that because the courts are open, everybody will want to say, okay, let's go to the courts. And it is not always like that. And I think it is high time the judiciary too find a way to always stop people, especially politicians, from always coming with these cases. I know that everybody wants a right. They know that they have rights for them to go to court. But we must also find a way to stop politicians from always going to the courts to always look for this easy way out.
That there should be a kind of internal mechanism within the political party.
The court is supposed to send them back to their party.
No, they can't. Court can't do that.
Because I don't understand every time we keep doing this.
If you are cheated, for example, the court is the place to go to. The problem is not with the courts, it's with these individuals in our political parties. If you do not make the process transparent, of course, anybody who feels cheated will go to court.
And some people, they find it difficult to accept that failure. If a primary election is conducted and you tell them that the thing will not go their way, they are bad losers. They don't exhibit the spirit of sportsmanship.
Yes, but at this stage, if you monitor the primaries of these parties, you will see why people will go to court. Because political leaders want to simply take decisions. You see a governor in a state, he has made up his mind that this will be the person to succeed him. He will not allow a level playing field to happen.
The problem of APGA is that some people were disqualified unjustly before. They didn't allow all of them to come out. So like 5 people ahead of the primaries were disqualified, and a lot of people believe that, look, they were disqualified to pave way for the emergence.
So these are the kind of things that allow people to go to court, encourage people to go to court, because once they are cheated, the court is we've seen where people are cheated and the court said, look, this is the person who won the primary. In this country, people will win primaries and their names will be substituted. I mean, it's just not right to be doing that. That's not democracy. You have won the primaries, convincingly. They will now change your name and put their own people. Now, if such a person goes to court, of course, INEC will be forced to replace that person. So it's our parties that should allow internal democracy to happen. Let the best of the best emerge as candidates, and don't force candidates don't force particular aspirants on everyone. If we do not stop that, then this will not happen.
Okay. Joining us is for more discussion on this is the factional national chairman of APGA, Edozie Njoku from Abuja. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Mr. Njoku, thank you for joining us. Yes, can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Yes.
What's going on?
Very, very good. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, what's going on in your party?
I think there's a delay. I'm talking and I can see myself not being heard there.
Yes, what's going on in your party? What's the reason for this crisis?
Okay, I was listening to the gentleman who just spoke earlier on, The main problem, as he said, is to do with internal democracy. We always sweep things under the carpet. For the past 2.5, 3 years, APGA has been in a problem of leadership, of a national leadership. It's repeating in my ears, I can't even hear.
Keep talking, please. Keep talking. Don't listen to just keep
leadership. And what really happened is, when the last national chairman was about to leave the party, they forced him in again, and he's been sitting on a seat that doesn't belong to him for the past 2.5 years. What that meant was that we've been in that crisis. And in Nigeria, we forget so easily. I've heard people say there are two factions, Jude Okeke. Jude Okeke claims in court to have been my deputy. He claims that I was suspended about a month ago, and he was my deputy, and he replaced me, and now he's bringing out a candidate. We are challenging that in the court of appeal, but that's not just all. Both my signature was forged, the deputy national South was forged. So much things have happened. So much goes on. I'm not. My earpiece is not on properly, so I'm just guessing that you're hearing me.
We can hear you. Just
can hear you. You can hear. Just go on.
Okay, so it's basically, it's not just a matter of the internal democracy of the party has had a very, very big problem for the past 2.5 years. The crisis has been on between myself and Dr. Victor Koye for 2.5 years. But I'm happy that INEC now says that I'm the national chairman but suspended, and Jude Okeke, who claims to have been my deputy and I've never met, is now the one presiding over the APGA affairs. Quite a shame.
Now, don't you think this will cause...
I've never met him, I don't know him, I've never seen him in my life.
Yes, don't you think that this will cost your party the governorship if things go on like this? If you people can't sit down together and resolve...
I've always... Well, I've made that point abundantly clear so many times that I've made that point clear that we intend to all sit together and make sure that we win Anambra State. The problem of the party is a national problem. It's a problem of who is national chairman. It's not really a problem of Anambra State. So as long as every so-called faction makes sure that they carry out all the necessary things they need to do for the primaries, whoever emerges as the national chairman of the party will produce the candidate and most likely the governor of Anambra State.
What is how do the supporters of your party feel now? How do they feel now that you people can't seem to come together? And you face a risk of not
having the candidates.
Of not even having a candidate.
It's a shame because the shame is on us, the leaders of the party, because we have very sound followers. We are very sound followers in the state. But I keep urging all of us that we should calm down and try and sort our problems out in Abuja here and have one front in Anambra State to push for an election, which I believe in the past 24 hours a lot of overtures have been made. We've had a bit of meetings and they're beginning to see my reason that let's move our crisis to Abuja and let Anambra continue with the elections. We shouldn't have that as a problem. And if Umeoji's name is the name there, no problem. If it's Soludo's name, no problem. But eventually the court will decide who is the national chairman of the party. And as long as we've satisfied all the requisite things we need to do, whoever wins as national chairman will produce the next governor of the state.
So you are saying that...
So we shouldn't drag our problems down to the level of the masses.
So you will be ready to abide by the decision of the court, even if it does not favor your candidate or your group.
We
we don't, no one has a choice in this country. The courts should be our last arbiter. Once the courts have, that's why we're obeying what the courts have said. The courts have given an order of some type, and they said Jude Okeke, who has never been in my group, said he's my deputy. The courts have said it's for me now to go to the court of appeal and appeal that judgment, and I intend to set it aside. And we should all be law-abiding citizens and carry on. If it doesn't favor you, then you've not done your work well enough, or you're not telling the truth, one or the other.
Okay, I also have joining us.
But we shouldn't rub it off on the masses. That's the point I keep making.
Okay, I want to thank you, the national chairman of fractional national chairman of APGA, Mr. Edozie Njoku. And also joining us is Augustine Elochukwu Okeke, the PDP Zonal Publicity Secretary, joins us via Zoom. Thank you for staying with us. Okay, they are still trying to reconnect with Augustine Elochukwu Okeke. Babajide, I don't know. Okay. In Anambra State, I know APGA, the incumbent governor is from APGA.
Yeah,
yes.
From APGA.
I wanted to ask the factional national chairman that what has Governor Obiano done so far to make sure that, look, I'm sure it's going to be in his interest, and I'm sure he would like it that somebody from his party to succeed him after 8 years in that seat.
Oh, the good thing is that they still have time. They still have time. This election holds in November, so this won't be the last time we are going to talk on this matter. It probably won't even be the last time that people like Njoku will be brought to come and talk on this matter. But one thing is clear. They stand the risk of losing that state, and that's the only state that APGA has. If APGA loses that state, if APGA loses that state at this time, then it will be a disaster. I believe that they have a very good candidate. Why not campaigning for them? I think that they have, let me say, they have very good aspirants. One of them will eventually become the candidate. So to see such people stand the risk of being disqualified is difficult to take. It just shows that politicians never learn. They never learn. They are too selfish to learn even from their own mistakes. So I hope that both the PDP and the APGA will be able to solve their internal problems so that they can go into that contest as two strong parties seeking for the first time to produce the governor, to win the governorship election. Not the first time really, because Ngige won on the platform of PDP. So, but since that era, they've not won the governorship election in the state. Maybe this will be their chance, but they've got to resolve their differences.
As well, if care is not taken, if there's controversy within APGA, there's controversy within the People's Democratic Party, and they don't manage it or they don't end the crisis before the 5th of November, the All Progressive Congress fielding Andy Uba might just...
Well, I won't predict, because there will be other candidates from other parties.
And we are talking about the formidable parties.
Yes,
here
other
now.
parties will also have formidable candidates. You know, we might be here doing permutation.
That's true.
But we might not know what the people will decide.
Some of them may go and join.
Yeah.
If what's the name of this one in the Senate?
Yeah,
run under YPP.
Yeah, Ifeanyi Uba
to clinch a senatorial ticket.
Yes.
is still there. So
And I think it's in this race.
And if you remember, even the Minister of Labour once contested and was defeated.
Yes,
in that same state.
In that same state.
That same
So
state.
the thing is, it's still open, and really, I had, by the time I saw the names, the candidates, based on their primaries, I was expecting that it's going to be a tough battle. But with these court cases, left, right, center, removing people from APGA, removing from PDP, you know, is not going to be a walkover. I keep saying it's not going to be a walkover for APC. because they have other candidates
Yes.
that will be coming up. So, but I want to see a tough contest so that anybody that gets there will know that it wasn't easy for him or to win that particular post.
We're still expecting the zonal publicity secretary of PDP to join us via Zoom, Augustine Ilechukwu Okeke. Okay, I don't think it's okay. It's not there yet, and also we still expect to talk to. We have one of the governorship aspirants in the state, Godwin Ozigbo, still in the fray. We expect to join him any moment soon. But Jide, talking about internal democracy, our political parties will not learn, and that is the, let me say, the biggest problem we are having with these political parties right now. That's, look, internal democracy, once you get it right in the process of producing a candidate, you have a very good platform to run on.
It's all down to selfishness on the part of these political leaders. They want to produce. In fact, if you give some of them a chance, they will not concede a single position to anyone. One person will be ready to pick all the positions or put his people in all the elective positions.
And if it doesn't go his way, he's ready to make the party.
He's ready to bring down the roof
of the party.
So this is not healthy at all. And I can tell you that during the Awolowo years, it was not like this. The party was supreme, and whatever decision the party came up with, you accept.
Yes, we have Augustine Ilechukwu Okeke joining us via Zoom. Now, what is the board of contention in PDP?
Thank you very much. There is no board of contention as far as PDP is concerned as a party. But individuals might have individual states, so to say. PDP conducted the primaries, governorship primaries on the 26th of June, monitored by INEC, following all the process, including the electoral act position, and to use the candidate. Some of them, as far as in that particular election, and congratulated the candidate, Valentine Ozigbo, as elected, so to say. However, there were some court pronouncements and preliminary judgment for the so to say. And INEC, being a body that must follow due process, has to respect court orders as given. And so, they did not include any name of any person as PDP candidate, just procedural. So those court processes are still ongoing, and pronouncements with less. So there are no issues in PDP. Except for individual, so that's how life.
Okay, we seem to be struggling with that connection. It's a network problem from that, and we keep trying him. Judy, we were talking about internal democracy.
You know, for me, PDP, every governorship election in Anambra, PDP will have crisis. PDP has the potential to win the governorship election in that state. The party is strong on ground, but they will never put their house in order. Every time, this is what happens. So I wonder why the leaders of the party have not been able to find a solution to this problem. Because if we look at even the last two elections in Anambra State, the PDP has had problems. They will never agree on who should be candidate. They will never agree, and just make it easy for APGA to win. You have a situation in which PDP will dominate the National Assembly elections. But to win governorship, they will never, the cohesion between party members that will allow that victory to happen, you won't see it. And once they are not united, once they are pulling in different directions, some of them will go and work for the rival parties. And at the end of the day, the party will lose. So this time around, to hear that Valentine, Ozigbo, and Chukwuma are contesting again and taking each other to court over the governorship ticket of the PDP, it just reminds me of what had happened in the past.
Same thing.
The same story from the same party. You know? And it's not the only, PDP is not the only party that is guilty of that. Even smaller parties, they still quarrel over who should be candidate.
Yes.
There should be structures in place that ensure that the primaries are transparent. When they are transparent, honestly, you will see that people will not be going to court. Why did we have this situation in 2015 that litigations, election-based litigations dropped drastically? It was because the 2015 election was deemed free and fair. Not perfect, but deemed free and fair. I mean, produced the winner that the Nigerian people wanted. So, court cases about the election went down drastically. Even INEC admitted that. But where you have a situation in which people get cheated in the course of the primaries, of course people will go to court. Even after you win the election, they will contest the fact that you were not validly picked as candidates. So this is the situation.
As people will go to court, and when they go to court, and court will use what they see on ground and everything, sometimes court will just even decide for the people.
Well, we will keep waiting for the courts to always do that for us, since they don't want to.
It's not good enough for democracy.
No, it's not. But for us to learn a lesson, even though politicians don't learn lessons, we'll keep having this issue every time. Whether it is from any small party to be, if as small as even local government election, people still have problem. As little as local government election is, we still have issues.
Stakes are always very high.
So it's always very high. So the party should see how they can always put their houses in order, so that by the time a candidate is picked and there's anybody that feels aggrieved, there's nothing stopping the party from setting up a committee to look at, to calm frayed nerves, bring the other party that is aggrieved, tell the person, okay, this is how we can do it. It is for the party first, then we decide. Let's even go for the battle first. Once we win, every other thing will be settled. But once you have people who are angry, people who are still taking the party's candidates, to court, it becomes a very big issue, Anambra is always known for that all the time. And once you see that, okay, this particular, that is why I'm telling you, do not think that it's going to be a walkover for APC, because at the end of the day, Ayo, something might happen. It might be a smaller party. Calculation will change, because things are getting different by the day. Things are changing by the day. Even the candidate that you think will win might not even win. I remember even then, 8 years ago, when we were thinking it was going to be easy for APC then. It wasn't easy, because then we are thinking, it's going to be Tony Umeoji, it's going to, at the end of the day, even when we are even thinking it was going to be Ngige.
Yeah,
so everything changes once it comes to Anambra election. Everything changes. So that is why I'm saying that but we hope that the courts will decide quickly on this matter, so that everybody, all the political parties will start their campaigns on time. People will decide who is going to win. INEC, I want to believe INEC is also ready for this election. All right. Despite all the things that happen, I believe INEC is ready. The parties should also be ready. We want to see a situation whereby APGA will not say they picked the wrong candidate, or PDP will say they didn't have a candidate. Because once I was seeing INEC's list, PDP was empty.